Hello friends, so today we are going to talk about the geometrical optics, and today's topic is lens maker's equation. So last time we know that in previous lecture we already saw the things. So in previous lecture we saw that is the lens equation. So let us have a brief overview. We know that if this is a lens and this is an optical axis, if object is kept here, then the rays incident on lens and then refract and forms image. So the distance of an object is u, the distance of an image is v, and the point through which the ray passes, that is called as a focal point. So lens equation is 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon v minus 1 upon u. Secondly, we saw it is relation between, lens equation is relation between f, v and u. Later, the same equation is applicable for both convex lens and concave lens. So you should remember that the same relation is used for this convex lens also, and if you study the concave lens, the same equation is there. So depending on the position of the object, in case of convex lens, image can be either real or inverted. So see here it is, what we have shown is there. If this is a focal length, so if we consider to left hand side there is another focal point. If we keep the image object beyond focal length, then we get the image at the opposite side, and this image is called as a real image and inverted image. But if you change the position of this object between focal length and optical center, this optical center, then you do not get the image to the right hand side in case of convex lens. So you should remember that in case of convex lens, depending on the position of this object, the image can be to the right hand side, that is real and inverted, or it also can be virtual and erect, that we already saw in last lecture. In case of concave lens, the thing to be remembered that if we consider the concave lens and the same situation is there, then if this is an optical axis, so in case of concave lens, remember that wherever the position of an object, so whether the position of an object is between focal point and optical center or beyond focal point, wherever it may be, remember that the image is always to the left hand side of the lens. That means image is always virtual and it is erect, and the image in case of concave lens is always between focal point and optical center. So now here it is object distance u. Remember that as this is optical center, according to sign conventions, to the left hand side of optical center object is placed, and to the left whatever distance u, that is considered negative. So in case of concave lens, f and v, so if you consider concave lens, so the focal point, this focal point is considered, and image is again always to the left. So in case of concave lens, the value of f and value of v, they are always negative. Now in case of convex lens, image distance v can be either positive or negative. So see here we already saw, if the image is real and inverted for convex lens, the value v will be positive, and if object is placed between focal length and optical center, so image will be to the left hand side, so obviously image distance will be negative. So now the image which is to the right hand side of an optical center, that is called as a real image, and the image formed to the left hand side of an optical center, that is called as a virtual image that you remember. Now let us think about lens maker equation. So friends, lens maker relation. So first important thing is that this is an equation which gives us the relation between u, v and f, where u is an object distance, v is image distance, and f is focal length of the lens, so that you remember. So here when we talk about UVF, that we know, actually in case of lens maker equation, as we saw in lens equation, we saw the relation between UVF. In case of lens maker equation, actually we are going to see the relation between focal length f, then radius of curvature of lens, and mu, that is refractive index. So here it is, remember that this is for lens equation, and here it is a relation which get, that is lens maker's equation. So here it is, r is radius of curvature and mu is the refractive index of the material of the lens. Now see, lens maker equation. So to understand the concept and getting the relation, we first need to understand the refraction at single curved surface. So friends, we know that what is refraction, so that we already saw, and we should think about it. So see, when we talk about this refraction, a simple thing is there. If this is a ray which is passing through air medium, it will be continuously go in a straight direction. But suppose let us consider here we put in another material. Let us consider this is a glass slab. Okay, so here the medium is air medium and here it is glass medium. So whenever light travels from one medium to another medium, refraction takes place, that is a bending of a ray takes place, that is called as a refraction. And ability of the refraction of that particular material compared to air, that is called as a refractive index we talk about. So that is what a refraction, that is a basic concept. Now we are going to see the refraction at single curved surface. Now let us consider that if this is the ray and we are putting the lens here, so ray gets incident on the first surface of the lens, this is second surface. So now we are going to consider refraction at a single surface, we are not considering second surface. Okay, so look carefully. See here it is, let us consider that it is one medium, that is a air medium, which has refractive index mu1. Now here you see that there it is, a first surface of a convex lens is shown. The curve is APB. Okay, and here the refractive index of air is mu1, and this side, to the right hand side, there it is a glass media, and the refractive index of that glass media or medium is mu2, it is shown. And note that mu2 is greater than mu1, so that you should remember. Now what is happening, this is an optical axis. Now let us consider the object O is placed at this point, okay, to the left hand side of the surface of the lens. Now here, so when light falls on this object, it reflects and the rays are actually incidenting on the surface. So let us consider this ray, okay, which is reaching to this point, and another ray which is going along optical axis. So these two rays are basically responsible for forming the image. Now next, here it is the optical center of the center of curvature. See, this is a part of a circle and whose radius is from this point to this point, and this point is called as the optical center, that we already saw. Now see, whenever the ray incident at this point, basically if there is no glass medium, it would have gone straight way, because of, we know that in the same refractive index medium, light travels in a straight line. But here it is a glass medium, remember that. So now at this point the ray will refract. So how it happens? So from point Q the ray refracts, and we know that, remember that whenever ray travels from lower refractive index medium to higher refractive index medium, it bends towards normal. So here I've shown the straight path of the ray, but at point Q, remember that here we see the normal is drawn. And how exactly it is drawn? See, so from optical center a straight line is drawn in that direction, and here we get a normal. This is the point. Now at this point, this is a normal to the surface of the lens at point Q, and now instead of the light going in a straight direction, it bends towards normal, so it will travel in this direction. So here angle I is now angle between the incident ray and the normal to the surface, that is called as the angle of incidence, that you remember very well because of we are going to see Snell's law. So here we see that the ray is refracted and it bends towards normal and passes through the optical axis, and the point where the ray coming along the optical axis and the ray bend intersect each other. At that point we get the formation of image of this object, and that image is I. So now here we have object I, and here we have image I. So now here note that mu2 is greater than mu1. Now here we clearly see that, see, this is a point Q, this is normal to the surface, and incident ray is coming to point Q. So this is angle of incidence. Okay, and when we talk about the normal, the refracted ray makes an angle R to the normal, and that is angle of refraction. And according to Snell's law says that sine of I divided by sine of R is equal to mu2 upon mu1. So it is a ratio of refractive index of the material. Remember that this is a media, mu2 upon refractive index mu1. This is a relation, and that is a Snell's law. So you should remember that according to Snell's law, we know that sine I upon sine R is equal to mu2 upon mu1. This is very important law which you should know. Now see, here it is. Second important thing in considering this, so now this is Snell's law. Now let us consider, see, here it is a point Q and this is point P. Now let us consider a straight line is drawn from point P, a Q to optical axis, and that point is M. So important thing to be noted that whenever we get the image of an object, actually we know that, see, if this is convex lens and whenever ray is coming parallel to optical axis, then we can say the image is formed at focal point. So normally whenever we are going to consider formation of image, we are considering parallel rays, and parallel rays are possible that only when object is at very large distance. So that is why while considering this is a normal ray and we should have a parallel ray to this. So obviously this distance OM is very, very small. So how exactly that we are going to see? So note that here angle of incidence, this is angle of refraction, this distance is OM. Now this angle made by the ray which is coming to point Q is alpha, and as angle alpha is very, very small, distance PM is very small. So that you should remember that alpha is small means that these 2 points are very close to each other. So see, in this figure we see that this is a very large angle, but it is not the case. It is for simply for understanding and explanation, the angle is shown larger one. Otherwise the ray which we consider, it is very close to the optical axis, which makes a very small angle. Now this makes angle alpha. Now here it is the ray which is refracted, okay, that makes angle beta with the optical axis, and finally the normal which we have drawn makes an angle alpha with the optical axis. So here with optical axis we get the angles alpha, beta and gamma, and there are other two angles, that is angle of incidence and angle of refraction. Now see here from figure, now let us consider, since I and R are very small, so just imagine that we are again telling you many times that I and R are very small. So let us consider this is a area of lens and object is here. So one straight line is going, okay, but another ray which I have shown here is so close, seems almost parallel, and so that is why angle between this and this ray, it is very, very small, and obviously the distance Q and M is very small, and so almost the point Q, if you draw the vertical line, point Q and point P are supposed to be overlapped. So that is what the situation you should understand for understanding all these things. So since I and R are very small, we can know that is sine I and sine R. So when sine I is very small, that means we know that sine 0 is equal to 0. So that means sine theta is equal to theta. In the same fashion we can say, instead of writing sine I upon sine R is equal to mu 2 upon mu 1, we can simply write that is I upon R is equal to mu 2 upon mu 1. Okay, so from this simply we can say that I into this mu 1 is equal to R into this mu 2, and this one equation we get from this relation. So simply understanding, note that we must know Snell's law and we should know the relation between I and R. So from this we got this relation. Now here we have got this equation, I is equal to mu 1 is equal to I mu 1 is equal to R mu 2. Now we need to find out the value of I and R from the figure. See, here it is. Here it is angle of incidence, here it is angle of refraction. So we know that there it is alpha, gamma and beta. Now we are trying to search the value of angle I. So now let us consider a simple figure in which from object the two rays are passing. This is one ray which is making an angle alpha, another ray is going straight along optical axis, and third is a normal drawn. So this normal is making an angle gamma with this. So now from this triangle we can understand the angle, this angle I is an exterior angle. So what is concept of exterior angle? You see, just simply suppose let us consider this is a triangle. So we can know this is 90 degree. Suppose I extend any another line So this angle is called as a exterior angle in any triangle. You can extend in a direction, this direction also. You can extend in this direction also, anywhere. So this is the exterior angle. So simply we know that the addition or summation of the three angles in triangle is 180 degree, and here it is 90 degree. So this is also, we see it is 90 degree. It is because of the exterior angle is addition of this angle, summation of this and this angle. Okay, so remember that exterior angle can be found out. So how? So the line is drawn close to this angle, so the addition of remaining two angles is exactly equal to the angle of exterior. So here in this case we can see that angle I is drawn along this line. So the two angles are alpha and gamma. So from this we can say here it is, we can say for triangle, so in triangle, say in triangle, so which triangle is this? Here it is OQC, in triangle OQC. See, angle I is exterior angle that you can see here, and so therefore angle I is nothing but addition of alpha and gamma, that is alpha plus gamma. So here is equation 2. So that we have got. Now here let us consider another situation. See, here it is. Now I have shown a additional ray, that is refracted ray. Now here again we have to find out the value of R. So considering the angle IQC, here you see that the part of this angle is, now triangle is angle beta, angle R. But if you look that, if you consider this side, you see that gamma is an external angle for the triangle IQC. So considering triangle IQC, we see that angle gamma, this is gamma C, here it is IQC, this is a triangle, and here it is external angle. So angle gamma is an external angle, this is external angle. Now we have to find out the value of R. So here it is, we can say that is gamma is nothing but addition of beta and gamma, R, beta plus R. So from this we can say that this R is equal to gamma minus beta. So this is expression 3. So here from 2 gamma minus beta, and just putting the values of I and R in equation 1, we get mu1 alpha plus gamma is equal to mu2 times gamma minus beta, which we already saw. So here it is mu1 alpha plus mu2 beta is equal to mu2 minus mu1 times gamma, that is equation 4. And now we have already this equation 4. So now if arcs are drawn through Q, now what we need to do is there, actually see what we are trying to show by doing this, that P and M are very close to each other. So how it is? By drawing arc, I'm just trying to explain. See here, let us consider, this is the lens which we saw. Here it is an object, it is. Now one ray is passing along optical axis, and another ray which actually we are showing in earlier figure. Look here, here you see that this angle is very large, but practically we are considering the ray which is very close to point P. That means Q is very close to P. So here, as we can understand, the angle alpha is very small. Now we are drawing an arc from point Q. So you can observe that the point which we have drawn from Q to optical center, that is M, and P are very close. So remember that is why we can say the distance between P and M are almost negligible. That is important thing we should understand. So here it is, if arc is drawn, so we can say that the distance between P and M is very small, that is a negligible. So since alpha is very small, now here, as alpha and R both are very small, we can say that alpha is equal to QM upon OM. So now this angle alpha is equal to QM divided by OM. This angle beta is equal to QM divided by this distance MI, and this angle gamma is equal to QM upon MC, that we can see. But now what we are going to consider, that M and P are too close, that we can say here it is, since point P and M are very close, so we can simply, instead of writing OM, we can write OP. Here it is also P, and like this. So QM divided by OP, then beta is equal to QM divided by PI and QM divided by PC. So here we get the things. So instead of M, we are considering P and M are at the same place. Now here, substituting the values of alpha, beta and gamma in equation 4. So here we have alpha, here we have beta, and here we have gamma. So now we are going to put these values in that equation, is written here. So since OP, now you can see that whenever we consider this OP, so from figure you can see that this is actually the object distance U, but actually it is to the left hand side, so OP is equal to minus U. Again PI, so from this P to this I, it is image distance V, so PI is equal to positive V, and this is optical center of curvature, so distance of center of curvature to the circumference to this point, it is the radius of curvature R. So now we are going to put the values of OP, PI, PC here, and here we get mu1 upon minus U plus mu2 upon V is equal to mu2 minus mu1 upon R. So this equation we have got. So now as we have got mu1 upon minus U plus mu2 upon plus V, now here we can say that is mu2 upon V, this term, minus U is there, that is why this term is minus mu1 upon U is equal to mu2 minus mu1 upon plus R. So let us consider this is expression 5. Now here it is, this is the relation between U, V and R for refraction at single surface. Now what we consider, this is a single surface, another surface is absent, that you can see. Okay, so refraction is taking place only due to a single surface, and we get the image formed at distance V, and this is a relation. Now for getting final Lensmaker equation, we are going to use this formula. So we are going to consider refraction at surface 1 also. Similarly, we are going to find the refraction at second surface, and the effective result will give us the Lensmaker equation. So here it is Lensmaker formula now we are talking about. So see here it is, that is Lensmaker equation. Now let us consider Lensmaker formula. So now here you see, this is a complete convex lens with two surfaces. So this is optical axis. Now this is a principal plane. Here you get the optical center. that is a point of intersection of optical axis and principal plane is optical center. Now this is the surface 1 of the lens, this side. Now here it is surface 2 of the lens. These are 2 points, principal point 1 and principal point 2. So to the left hand side, the media is air. So that means light is coming through air media. So that is refractive index is mu1. Now here when it enters the glass, so here it has a refractive index mu2, remember that. And whenever the ray goes away or travels from glass media to air media, again it enters into air media, that you remember while second refraction. Now here object O is placed. Now object O is at distance u from the optical center. So these are principal points. Now see here one ray is incident, making an angle obliquely, making an angle this alpha, and another ray is traveling along optical center. When it reaches to first surface, okay, so refraction takes place. So now here it is first circle and second surface. Now let us consider that second surface is absent. When it is absent, what happens? Let us see. So when second surface is absent, so refraction or bending of light is due to only first surface, and the ray will travel along to will bend towards optical axis, and you get the ray which intersect to the optical axis, and as well as the ray which is along optical axis, and the image is formed here. Now remember that this image formed is shown I dash because of this image is only due to single surface, but practically our lens is having two surfaces, so that you remember. Now here the image distance is V dash. So remember this image I dash is at distance V dash due to a single surface. Now let us consider, we already saw the relation of, that is the equation for a single surface, that is mu2 upon V minus mu1 upon u is equal to mu2 minus mu1 upon r. So using this, what we can see, refraction at surface 1 is, now here it is mu2 upon plus v, because of here it is this distance, but here it is actual distance we are considering v dash. So v dash minus mu1 upon this u is equal to mu2 minus mu1 upon r1. So remember that r1 is radius of curvature of this first surface. Now let us consider that second surface is now in picture. Now what is going to happen? See, here it is. Carefully, if you observe, let us consider this kind of scenario. If this is a lens, okay, so when this second surface is absent, the ray which is coming to this point, it refracts, okay, and then it goes in straight line where we have shown the image I dash is formed, okay. But at this point, just understand, at this point image I dash is formed, okay. But now when second surface is present, so again light travels from mu2 to mu1, and again bending of light takes place, and actually the final image which we get is here. So remember, here our original object O, actually this is object for forming this image I dash, okay. So if second surface is absent, image would be here, but now this ray is traveling in the media of refractive index mu2. Now this becomes, I dash becomes virtual object for surface 2, and again bending of the ray takes place, and image is formed at I, that you remember. Now see, so when second surface is present here, now how the image is formed, look carefully. The again bending of light takes place, and we get the image formed I at this point. Now for this image, remember that I dash, which is a virtual object, acts as a virtual object. The image, final image is formed at I, and this I is formed at distance V. So here you need to remember that here it is I dash, distance is V dash, final image is at I having image distance V. Now refraction at second surface, if you consider, I dash acts as a virtual object for surface second and final image form is I. So from figure, again the same rule is there. Okay, so here it is, we see that mu2 minus mu1. Okay, so here object was in media of refractive index mu2 minus mu1. Okay, here u is object and mu2 was the refractive index of glass media. But now for second surface, actually the ray starts in glass media. Okay, so object is now in mu2. So here you can see that we get the relation, that is mu1 upon v plus, that means actual image which we have got is in medium mu2 mu1 and minus here the original object, that is called as a virtual object, was in medium 2, so that is mu2 upon v dash, and that is equal to mu1 minus mu2 upon r2, where r2 is radius of curvature of this surface. So here the image I is at distance v. Now we have got the two equations, this is for surface 1 and this is for surface 2. Now we'll make addition of these surfaces. So adding equations, adding equation 6 and 7, we get, here it is mu1 upon v minus mu1 upon u. So here you can observe that mu1 upon minus mu1 upon u. Here it is mu2 upon plus v and minus mu2 upon plus v gets cancelled. So we get this term and we have mu2 minus mu1 into here it is 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2. So this is equation 8 which we have got. Now dividing equation by mu1, so all these mu1 terms will get vanished. So you get the equation 1 upon v minus 1 upon u is equal to mu2 upon mu1 minus 1 upon minus 1 into 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2. This is expression 9. And if, now let us consider, lens of refractive index mu is placed in air medium. So in short, this is air medium. Lens refractive index we know that is mu2, and let us consider this mu2, let us consider simply mu, which is shown here. Mu is placed. Okay, lens refractive index is mu. Then by putting this value from lens equation, we know that 1 upon v minus 1 upon u is equal to 1 upon f. So 1 upon f is equal to mu minus 1 into 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2, and this is basically a lens maker's formula. So using this we can design a lens or particular focal length. So in short, what is happening actually, suppose this is an eye and here somewhere there it is a retina on which image should be focused. Okay, so this is, suppose let us consider optical axis, and at this point and somewhere here it is eye lens is there, but actually due to problems, so the ray may be focused here or it might be focusing here somewhere, so no clear vision is there. So now using this we have to find out the position of lens. Okay, we have to select this lens such way that the ray will be focused on retina. Okay, so for that we must know the focal length. Okay, thereafter the medium which we are using as a lens, its corresponding refractive index must be known. Okay, and here it is. R1 and R2 are the radius of curvature of both the surfaces. They decide the point at which the image will be focused. So this way, this equation can be used for making the lens, and that is why it is called as a lens maker's formula. Now let us consider a problem related to this. So here it is. You can see there it is a problem which is shown. See, calculate the focal length f of a double convex lens for which the radius of curvature r of each surface is 25 centimeter and refractive index mu of the material of the lens is 1.5. So we'll go step by step. So we have a double convex lens, that means which has two surfaces. That means this is first surface, this is also convex, another surface is also convex, for which radius of curvature of each surface, that is this is surface 1, this is surface 2. For surface 1 the radius is r1, for surface 2 the radius is, let us consider, r2. Here the value of both radius of curvature of surface is 25 centimeter. So these are 25 centimeter which is given. Okay, and refractive index mu of the material. So this is a material whose refractive index is given, that is mu of the lens is 1.5, it is given. Okay, now here it is calculate the focal length. So that means here this is an optical axis, and what is focal length? That means whenever parallel rays incident on the lens, they refract, and the point at which they intersect the optical axis, that is called as a focal length, that we have to find out. Now we know the relation, that is 1 upon f is equal to mu minus 1 into 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2. So here we have 1 upon f is equal to mu is given, that is 1.5 minus this 1 into r1 and r2 both are same, that is 1.1 upon, that is 25 centimeter, that is minus 1 upon 125. These are radius of curvature. So here it is. Here you can see, if this is a first surface which has a radius of curvature r1, suppose this is center for this circle, let us consider. So this r1 is to the right of optical center, so this is positive, so r1 is positive. But if we consider this is second circle, okay, and somewhere its radius of curvature from its center of curvature, that is r2, but it is to the left of optical center, and so this must be treated as a minus. So therefore that is equal to 1.5 minus 1 into 1 upon 25 minus plus, that is 1 upon 25, and that turns to be, here we get, that is 0.5 into 2 upon 25, that is equal to 1 upon 25. But here you see, that is, this is nothing but 1 upon f. So therefore f is equal to 25 centimeter. So this way you can calculate the focal length while designing a particular lens for particular focal length. So this way you can solve. So while considering these kind of problems, remember that sign conventions are to be remembered. That is very important thing. So let us consider another problem. Here it is. Again another problem in which see, calculate the focal length f of a plano-convex lens. So here lens is plano-convex, that means one side is plane and another side is convex. So you can say this side can form the circle, but this side cannot. So obviously the radius of curvature r1 for this side will be infinite. Okay, but for this, what it is given, let us see. Of a plano convex lens for which the radius of curvature r of the curved surface, that means radius of curvature for this part is given, that is r2 is equal to 25 centimeter. It is given. Okay, and refractive index is again 1.5. So similarly, putting the values here, it is 1 upon f is equal to mu minus 1 into 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2. So simply now you need to put here the given value is 1.5, sorry, 1.5 minus 1, okay, into 1 upon r1. So r1 we saw, that is it is infinite, minus 1 upon 25, but this minus becomes plus. So here you get 0.5 into 1 upon 25. So finally the value of f is equal to 50 centimeter. So this way you can solve the problems. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.